Good morning. With the help of Hashem, we are learning Yerushalmi Meiser Sheni, Pedig Dalid Halacha Vav. We're learning today Daf Mem Dalid, and we left off on Daf Mem Dalid, Amid Dalid, 3 lines from the top of the Amid. Now, we just learned a Mishnah from Masechtas Beya, from Masechtas Beitza, in Bavli Daf Yud Amid Beis, and the Mishnah is speaking about the rule that even though one is allowed to shecht on Yom Tiv, nevertheless, there is a muksa issue that has to be addressed, meaning the animal or bird that one is going to shecht on Yom Tiv needed to be designated muchand prior to Yom Tiv for exactly that. And if not, the animal or the bird is muksa. So the Mishnah is speaking about a case when it comes to birds, when a person designated blackbirds, and he went before Yom Tiv, saying that these birds are going to be slaughtered, geschochten, on Yom Tiv, l'kavod Yom Tiv. And when he comes on Yom Tov day to take the birds to shech them, they're white doves, or white and black. The Mishnah gave a few cases, or even if he designated 2 and he found 3. So in all of these cases, the Mishnah says that they are muktzah, asurin. And however, if he designated 3 doves, white, and he comes back Yom Tov and he finds 2, so those 2 are going to be permitted. So first of all, the Mishnah, the Gemara proved from that Mishnah regarding the inquiry that we had at the end of yesterday's shir. After we established that location is consequential. Nevertheless, in the case of the boya, that you had a box, and in the box you had a wallet filled with mois meiser sheni. But let's say it was a white wallet, and it was in a specific corner in the box. And then when you come back to the box, you find in the same corner, in the same location in the box, a different colored wallet. Do we say that since it is in the same location, we have to presume that it's mois meiser sheni, it's in a different color wallet? Okay, someone took the money from one wallet and put it in the other, but it was that money. Or no, since the color is not the same, and that's exactly what we proved from the Mishnah in Beitza, since the birds, al derech the birds, so therefore the money that you find, lekula, is unconsecrated. Once we quoted the Mishnah in Beitza, we're going to begin today's shir by analyzing the final line in the Mishnah, that if you designated 3 birds and you found 2, they are mutarim. Now there is a potential correlation to a halacha that we had in our Mishnah. That is, that if a person designated 200 maneh for Meiser Sheni, and he told his son that, and then his son finds over there 100 maneh, the Mishnah also said, that was the last line in the Mishnah, that 100 maneh is Meiser Sheni. Okay, there's a novelty in that maybe you would argue that since the father told his son there's 200, and now he only finds 100, perhaps the entire 200 was taken away, and this 100 is new, and therefore, roiv, chulin. We don't say that. That is really, in some cases, subject to a machloikes tanoim, Rabbi and the Chachamim, as we'll see. And the question is whether the Mishnah in Beitza is only going l'das Rabbi, or it's going l'kula alma. That will be the first topic of today's shir. That will go all the way into the bottom of the Amit. And we're going to start today, and God willing, continue a bit on Daf Mem Hey, the sugya of chaloimos in Yerushalmi. Now, this topic is discussed extensively in Brachos Bavli. If you remember, beginning on Daf Nun Hey, and then we go to Daf Nun Vav and Daf Nun Zayin. I think it even goes on to Daf Nun Ches. There's Agadata there, but the sugya of chaloimos. Here we have a daf and a half. And the way the Gemara here divides this topic is, first of all, whether dreams are reliable. Mamish, in the context of Meiser Sheni, we already learned this, that a father comes to a son in his dream, and he tells the son that, my son, I passed away, but you should know that in that location, there is money of Meiser Sheni. And the son wakes up and he finds exactly in that location, exactly the money the father told him in the dream. So you would think, well, oy bazoi, the money is Meiser Sheni. For that, Chazal say, divrei chaloimos loy malin v'loy moridin. That nothing, it's inconsequential. And our Gemara Yerushalmi says something that we do not have in the Bavli. What I'm going to say now, we do have in the Bavli, but it's applied in a very unique way. The Gemara here says the following, that since people dream at night regarding that which they thought about during the day, when do we say, as we said in this story, that we tell the son, we paskin to the son that the mois is chulin? Divrei chaloimois, leimalin v'loy meridin was dafka because the son was thinking about it during the day. He knew that his father left Mois Meiser Sheni. He didn't know where. So then we say that the dream is inconsequential. But if someone knows that they did not think about a certain topic during the day and they dreamt about it during the night, according to the Yerushalmi, it will be consequential. And in our case, someone never even knew there was Mois Meiser Sheni. He didn't think about it. He wasn't concerned about it. And he had such a dream. The money will be Mois Meiser Sheni. So that will be the first sugya that we will have regarding the reliability of a dream. Once we made that differentiation and we establish that sometimes dreams are reliable, even in the case of paskening a halacha in the Yerushalmi, from there we're going to go into dream interpretation. It's reliable. What does a dream mean? In most cases, or maybe even in all cases, it for sure does not mean the pshat. Everything is representing something. And we're going to have a Gewaldige series of stories. We're going to have from various Amoraim, but from Rabbi Shmuel but Rabbi Yossi, we're going to have, I think, 9 cases of how he interpreted dreams, how he sometimes abstained for a reason of interpreting a dream, as we will unpackage the sugya. That's really fascinating. But we are starting first with the more niggardika part of today's daf mem dalad amadal, 3 lines from the top. The first topic today is Pashut, referring back only to the Mishnah in Beya. A person designated 3 white doves before Yom Tov, and Yom Tov morning he finds 2 white doves in the same location. So the Mishnah writes that those are mutarim. Again, there is what will be the novelty. The novelty will be is that you might think, since he left 3 are not there, 1 for sure ran away, flew away. Maybe all 3 flew away. And the ones that you found today are new ones. And if that would have been the case, then it would have been muktzah. Nevertheless, the Mishnah doesn't say that. You're missing 1, that 1 ran away. The other 2, we rely on the chazaka that they were in the same place as they were yesterday, and therefore those are the same birds. Says the Gemara, I want you to know regarding this last halacha in the Mishnah in Beya, Rabbi Yaakov bar Acha b'shem Rabbi Yasa, that the final part of the Mishnah is only the Rebbe. It only follows Shitas Rebbe and not the Chachamim. Where is Rebbe and Rabbanan? We don't have this in the Mishnah, we have this in the Braisa. The Tani we learned in the Braisa. And here it's amazing how the Braisa is not talking about Muktzah. This Braisa is about our topic. But it's not exactly like the Mishnah. The Mishnah was speaking about someone who told the son. In this Braisa, it's about the person proper, that Mosayim. A person left in a certain location 200 dinar of Meiser Sheni. And then he went back to that same location. Again, it's similar to the Mishnah, but not the same. As I mentioned, the Mishnah is Ha'emer Lebnoi. Here is you for you. So says the Braisa, Hamana Nutal. All we say is that from the 200, only 100 was removed. Not all of it was removed, and that which you found is something new. Because if we were to say that, new by default will be chulin, because roiv mois is chulin. We don't say that. Taka, someone came in here and took, but the fact that you find 100, halachically we presume that the 100 that you find is the same one of the 2 that you left, and therefore, l'chumra, the mois is meiser sheni, divrei Rabbi. So based on that, going back to the case of the doves, of the birds and muktzah, exactly. You designated 3, you find 2. Again, we say that the 1 went away and the other 2 were the original 2. However, go there in the Braisa of Chachamim, the Chachamim say that the 100 zuz that you find, 100 dinar that you find, or dollars or whatever, is chulin. And the logic behind that is the fact that we know, vadai, that someone removed money. Logically, if someone had the chutzpah to remove the money, or the lack of ethics to remove the money, why would they only remove 100? You left the money. It's your money. If you left 2 and you find 1, someone got into your stuff. If someone got into your stuff, the Chachamim are like saying, whoa, you're giving people too much credit. Why do you think they only took 100? They took all of it. Now, how do we have 100? Someone else put 100 here. And therefore, look, they're saying a big leniency. The 100 that you find is chulin. So the Gemara is suggesting that according to the Chachamim, if what you find is less from that which you left, same thing should be applied in Beya. You find 2 birds, not 3 birds. All of the 3 birds flew away, or all of the 3 were removed. The 2 that you find are new birds, and in Beya they'll be machmer. Since the 2 that you are finding are not the ones that you designated, they're muksa. That is the first approach that the Gemara says. In other words, the Mishnah in Beya is only following Shitas Rebbe, and the Gemara comes, there's going to be a back and forth. No, it's not accurate. Chazar v'amar, Rabbi Yaakov bar Acha himself said, no, I take that back. And I'm going to tell you that Divrei Hakoli, that the Mishnah in Beya goes according to everyone. Why is that? Like I just mentioned, by money doesn't walk. If you leave money there, why you left 200? Why did you find only 100? Someone was here. Someone removed the money. So there is a logic to say, now don't forget, no one asked you permission. It's like a chiddush. You left 2, you find 1. So that person is a ganef. Or let's give that person the benefit of the doubt. They thought it was theirs, whichever. The very fact that someone removed 100, the Chachamim say, why do you think they only removed half? They removed it all. Doesn't make sense for them only to remove half. So that's why the Chachamim, it turns out, are mekel, because machmer. By Maisa Sheni, they're mekel. So the money that you find is new money, and therefore it's chulin. Birds go on their own. They have their own volition. So no one went in here. You left 3, you find 2, 1 bird flew away. Just because 1 bird flew away, does it mean that the other 2 also flew away and then new ones came? That is different. Shani hi bigoy when it comes to birds, shedarkam lefloyach. They have a tendency to fly away. Money doesn't fly away. The Chachamim didn't know that our money flies away. The rabbi leader says, money talks. My money says, bye-bye. But that's just a joke. Money flies away, yeah, but not the way birds fly away. All right. So, which is good. In other words, we would definitely prefer for the Mishnah of Beitza to go according to everyone. So the Gemara says, Nishnemes, because V'hatani Rabbi Chalafta ben Shaul, we actually found the Braisa taught by Rabbi Chalafta. He had davar b'goizolin, he had davar b'beitzim, that the Braisa explicitly equates the leaving 3 birds, finding 2, concerning the din of muksa. Same when it comes to you leaving 200 mana of Meiser Sheni, and you come back and you only find 100 mana, 100 coins. 1 mana is 100. You left 2 mana and you found 1 mana, and the bottom line is, Chave the Rebbe, he comes out that yes, the Mishnah in Beitza is only Rebbe, because according to the Chachamim would say that since you left 3 birds and you found 2, we're going to say halachically the 3 that you left. All of the 3 are gone. What's my proof? 1 for sure is gone. Once you see 1 left, the other is left also. You have 2 birds, they're new birds. In the case of muktzah, new birds are muktzah. You can't shecht a bird, you can't shecht an animal, only if prior to Yom Tov you designated it to be shechted. And now we're going to bring all of that back to our Mishnah. So as I mentioned, that the last line in the Mishnah, on Daf Mem Gimel, the last line, Masayim umatzah mana, that you left 2 mana and you found 1, but umatzah mana in our Mishnah, the whole Mishnah is speaking about someone who told his son. That's how it began. That's different. See, it's different between you telling your son and your son finding something versus you telling yourself, as the Gemara is going to point out. So says the Gemara, even though from the Tani Rabbi Chalafta ben Shaul, even though logically we would not have gotten there, but now that we have a fact, we have this equation between Maisa Sheni money, you left more, you found less, and Muksa, birds, you left more, you found less, Machloikes Rebbe and the Chachamim, so one will now say that our Mishnah that says, the last line in the Mishnah, that if you told your son you left 2 Masayim, and your son goes and he finds 1, and our Mishnah says, Hakol Meiser, what he finds is Meiser. So l'chayda, here again, you would argue that our Mishnah only follows Rebbe, right? Mamish. According to the Chachamim, if you leave 2, you find 1. Chachamim say the very fact that there's not 200, someone got in here. Someone got in here, they took. Why do you think they only took half and they left you half? They took it all. what you found is new money. Someone else put in that money. Not Meiser Sheni money, because when you don't know what it is, because of the law of you follow the majority of the money is chulin. So therefore, don't say, says our Gemara, that our Mishnah only follows Rebbe. And I'll tell you the difference. Ta'amon, in the Braisa that we quoted, which is about Meiser Sheni, about leaving two and finding one, Machloikes Rebbe in the Rabbanon, is dafke only because of who Heniach hu matzah. It's speaking about the same person who left the two. He's the guy that found the one. So I know it's my money. I know that I left 200. If I find 100, what do I know? Someone got in here. And someone got in here without my knowledge. So therefore, the Chachamim have a logic to say, if they took 100, why do you think they didn't take the second 100? They took it all. There's money here, someone else put their money here. But in our Mishnah, we don't say that. But in our Mishnah, the whole Mishnah is about someone who told his son. That means the father left the money. Who finds it? Aviv Hiniach, this is a rhetorical question. Aviv Matzah is our case in the Mishnah where the father is the one that found it? No, the Mishnah began all of this by speaking about a father who told his son. So it's the son who's the one that found it. Now, very simple, Aviv. If my father left 200, he told me I left 200, and I find 100, you know what's highly likely? That my father took 100. My father owns the money. It's not like once I know there was a ganef, like a person walks into their home and they see that there were people there were bandits there. What are they worried about? Everything was stolen. They look for everything. In other words, once someone did something wrong, there's a fear. They went all the way. The father leaving 200 and the son only finding 100, what the son will think is, at some point, my father needed 100 of his money. He had the right to take it. But it makes sense for the father only to take half. In other words, the Gemara is telling us that in our Mishnah, even according to the Chachamim, when the son is the one that finds a lesser amount of money, whatever he finds, hakoil meiser. This is gavaldik. And now, when it comes to this machlekes, Rebbe and the Chachamim, when you are the one that left the money and you are the one that finds a lesser amount of money, how do we paskin? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Bun bar Koyen Omar. Kumi Rabbi Asa, and Abun said it in the name of Rav Acha, that what? That Choyri Rabbi Ba bar Zavda b'Maisa Sheni kahadod Rabbi. That even if he himself is the one that left the money and he is the one that found it, he found less coins. Even in that case, we don't say that like the Chachamim say, well, if someone took money, they took all of it. We don't say that. There is a chazaka. I left 200. I find 100. I don't know what happened. But I have to presume that whatever money is there, the lesser amount of money is from the same money that I left. That's how we paskin. And that's taka very good. Now that we had the Tani Rab Chalafta, and that's why the Mishnah in Beitza, Stam Mishnah, is like Rebbe. Maybe that's how we got to it. Because of the Braisa that says Rabbi Chalafta ben Shol equates one and the other. And because of us paskening, Rebbe paskens in the Mishnah by the Goizalim, like Shitas Rebbe, Stam Mishnah, maybe that's how we got to it. Okay. So now that we began speaking about the father, the Mishnah, father told the son where money is of Meiser Sheni, the Gemara is going to begin with a case, with a story. We learned this in Bavli. And like I mentioned in the words of introduction, there's going to be a nuance that we don't have in the Bavli that's very halachically consequential. B'chlal and Chazal, we find opposite approaches when it comes to dreams. Generally, dreams are very consequential, which means that we give credence to a dream. We're not saying that we know what it means, but it's something, right? The Chazal say a dream is a 60th of prophecy. Look inside the Chumash. The Chumash is filled with dreams. Yaakov Avinu had a dream that meant something, that means something. You have Yosef HaTzadik had dreams. Lahavdil Paroi had dreams. The Sar HaMashkin, the Shar HaOifim, right? Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. Throughout Tanakh, dreams are consequential. Where do we find otherwise? In this Torah Shebal Peh Halach. And what is it? So let's go to it. This is the other side of the coin. Harei Shahoyim Mitztayir Al Ma'osav Shalaviv. Now, this is very meduyak. Dafke like this. Harei Shahoyim Mitztayir. What does Mitztayir mean, Aviv? Someone is in pain. What are we talking about? We're talking about a father who told the son that I have in the home Meiser Sheni money. He never told the son where. He never told the son how much. And the father passed away. That's the case. So the son is preoccupied. What's the preoccupation? The son now inherited the state. There's going to be money. What's the problem of it for this son? I know there's Meiser Sheni money. Where is it? So he's wondering about it. Maybe his father told him and he forgot. Maybe his father wrote a note somewhere. So he's preoccupied. Where is the Meiser Sheni money? And to his mazel, he has a dream. Who comes to the dream? His father. You know what his father tells him? His father tells him exactly how much money and where it is. The guy wakes up in the morning, he goes to that location, and he finds that amount of money. Isn't that great? So the psak was, it's not Meiser Sheni. The words that are used is divrei chaloimes, loy mailen v'loy moridin. You can't upgrade something because of a dream. You cannot downgrade something because of a dream. Right? That goes into contradiction to everything I just said before. That dreams are consequential, dreams have meaning. This is the strongest statement. Don't forget, in Mishnah, it's not only in Tanakh. We have other halachas. There's a halacha that if a person dreams and in the dream they put him into chedem, he has to take it seriously. There's certain steps that he needs to do to get the chedem removed from him. So it's not black and white, only divrei chaloimos loy mailen v'loy moridin. But this is the one case where we do say divrei chaloimos loy mailen v'loy moridin. So this guy, the father comes to the dream and he tells him specific things. Kach v'kachem. First of all, how much? He gives him the exact amount. What are the chances? Imagine, I'm not even talking about 200. Father tells him, I have 251 and 35 cents. No, and B'makim Pleni. B'makim Pleni can also be in a very unusual place. Hidden in between the mattress and the bed spring, and the box spring, in the kid's bedroom, in the right bed. Like something like, how would you know that? Even there. And we don't even, the Yerushalmi is brief. The son wakes up in the morning and he goes to that location and he finds exactly in that location, exactly that amount. So you would think, okay, it's Meiser Sheni. Also, Uvda Kumei Rabbanan, when the case came ultimately in front of the rabbinate, it means that whoever heard the Shaila didn't paskin on his own. He brought it to the Chevre, to the Rabbanan. For that, Amrin, they said, Divrei Chaloy Moisloi Mailan V'loi Moridin. Means nothing. You can go buy coffee with it. Okay. Now, Rabbi Yoina, boy, first of all, this is brought down in a Braisa. This story is from the Tanoim. So the Gemara wonders, Mitztayir v'chamei, va'at omar hachin. The son doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense, Aviv? The son already knew there's Meiser Sheni. The Gemara is posing this as a problem. No, it's if you never knew that there's money there, so then, okay, based on what? Based on a dream? You can't paskin based on a dream. The son already knew there's Meiser Sheni money. He was concerned about it. You would argue that in that case, we should at least there give credence. And the Gemara says, no, that's exactly why we don't give credence. Dafka, because the son was worried about it. Which is, Amar Rabbi Yosi da Moira, loy mitztabra the law, behu the loy mitztayir v'chamei. The opposite, he tells him. The only reason, your premise is based on an opposite logic. If the son was not mitzta'er, which means, Aviv, the son never even knew the father left Meiser Sheni money. He wasn't even worried about it, which would mean he never thought, he wasn't thinking about it. This was not his concern. When you dream about something that you did not think about during the day, that is a dream that is consequential. You're being notified something. You know why the Chacham and Paskind in this case that the money is chulin? Baram hach over here are the words, Kimo the barnash have, what the person thinks about during the day, hu chalim, it is about that he dreams during the night. So this is very, very powerful. So the Gemara is actually limiting the psak. You know why they paskened in the case that the Baraisa brought Divrei Chaloimos Leimaylan V'Leimeridin, because the son, when he was telling the Shaila, when they asked him questions, he notified the Beis Din that he was thinking about it. He was bachal, he was looking for it. He was worried about it. So that's where you tell a person, well, since you were thinking about it and you dreamt about it, the dream did not come from out there. The dream came from inside of you. It doesn't mean anything. Which means the Gemara is actually saying that if you had a dream, you never knew about Ma'aser Sheni money, and your father comes to you, father who passed away, and he tells you, I want to notify you that X, Y, and Z, we have to be concerned with the X, Y, and Z. L'chumra. And Amar, Rabbi Avin, says Rabbi Avin, man da Ovid Yos, Ovid ke Rabbi Yosi. If you want to know how to follow, you want to know the proper approach when it comes to this question, whether we halachically should give credence to a dream or not. Don't say, I'm going to say right now what we say in the Babli when it comes to halachic issues. No, then we have to investigate further. Only if you are thinking about this topic during the day, only there will we say that when it comes to a halachic question, in the Babli, the approach is not like this. In the Babli, the approach is that since Torah lav bashamayim, when it comes to halachic questions, when it comes to non-halachic questions, then we give credence to dreams. Yosef Atzadzik's dream was not a halachic, you were not resolving a halachic inquiry. It was notifying how in the future he'll become a master, a leader, and everyone will become subservient to him. Yaakov Avinu's dream was not a halachic dream. That's the way it's resolved in the Babli. And again, based on the rule that Torah lav bashamayim. Same thing with Eliyahu Hanavi. Many people ask, how can we rely on Eliyahu Hanavi? Torah lav bashamayim. So they say that many times we rely on Eliyahu Hanavi for him and come and tell us what happened, not to tell us the halacha. We already know that if this happened, the halacha is A. If something else happened, the halacha is B. Acha Yavi Eliyahu is to notify the mitzias, not to notify the halacha. That is the Babli's approach. Here we're having a very different approach. And this is gavaldik. Even if you dreamt a dream that is that could have halachic consequence, if you know to your awareness that you did not think about it during the day, we will follow the dream according to Rabbi Yosi. And the Gemara is saying in the Yerushalmi that we follow Rabbi Yosi. So dreams are so consequential. They're so reliable. Even if they are notifying you a halachic mitzias, you follow the dream. If it came to you. Okay, so now that we established that dreams are halachically reliable, now we have to know how to interpret them. Because just because they are reliable, how do you know the dream is what it appeared to be? And the premise of this whole Amid, and God willing, in the next Amid, of next year, is that as we had in the Babli, that there's a lot of symbolism in the dream. Symbolism means it's a tzion, it's a siman. It's not what it is. You're looking at something. It's not what it is. It's representing something, and that which is representing sometimes can actually be the opposite of what you're looking at. So let's begin with it. So we're going to begin with 2 dreams that were interpreted by Rabbi Yosi bar Chalafta, and then 9 dreams that were interpreted by Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yosi. Says the Gemara, Mem Daled Amid Beis on top of the Amid. Chad bar Nash, ben Adam, the son of Anash, Asa legabe Rabbi Yosi ben Chalafta, and Omar Lei, and he tells Rabbi Yosi, Chamis bechel moi, right? Chamis means I saw. I saw in my dream that mitmarli, it was, they're seeing an image, and then they're seeing that you're being told. Basically, he heard that what? Ezel lekaputkia. Kaputkia is a name of a city. We have this many times mentioned in Chazal. There's a whole debate exactly where was it. If you have an art scroll, he'll bring you the 2 opinions. But Kaputkia. Go to Kaputkia. Va'at mashkach midoloda avich, and you will find that which your father lost over there. Okay, so you have a person, his father passed away. He knew that his father left stuff, didn't know where it is, so they told him, go to Kaputkia. What did we just establish? We just established that halachically, if you didn't think about it during the day, relying. I know this is not a halachic, but it's still a halachic. Like, would you do that? Imagine a person who doesn't have a father. His father comes to him and he tells him, listen, some of my stuff is in Schweiz, in that bank account, without a bank account. Would you go there? So the Gemara is saying, if you didn't think about it during the day, if you never even knew about it, so how did you think about it? You didn't know about it. You have to listen. You should listen to it. Yes and no. You should listen. The dream is meaningful, but you're misunderstanding it. This is the best story. So Amalei Rabbi Yosef and Chalafta told him that Azal Avud Ahu Gavra Likaputkia Min Yoima. He asked him, to your awareness, did your father ever go to Kaputkia? Did he ever go to Switzerland? Amalei Loi. Now you can counter argue. Well, you don't know about it. He didn't go in that direction. In other words, if his father would have been known to have gone there, then he would have interpreted literally. That's what it comes out. But he says, no, my father never went there. So what did he conclude there for Aviv? That Kaputkia has another meaning. Even though Kaputkia would mean Zurich. Kaputkia is a name of a city. But Kaputkia can be a composite of two words, Kappa, de Koiraya, the 10th beam. So what he told his son is, what he told this dreamer, Amalei, Ezel, go home. Minei asar sharoyon goy besach, count 10 beams in your home. We entered the house, there were beams. If you hire a Iran to build your home, he'll make it without beams. Vlad will make it without beams. But if you have like in 770, beams, every 2 feet, a beam. So go count 10, and by the 10th beam, if it's in the beam, under the beam, over the beam, I don't know exactly how it works with the beam. Va'at mashkach midullah, that which was lost from your father, you'll find somewhere hidden in the 10th beam. And why? Because he says, Kaputkia, it was a dream where he heard the name. In the dream, it means Kappa, de Koiraya, the 10th beam. How great is that? Okay. Pshat could be, doesn't have to be. That's the message over here. Again, if his father would have been known to have gone there, he would have told him to go there. He used a very practical guide to know whether it is what it is or whether it's a siman to something else, whether there's a hidden meaning in it. And in this case, he went into the hidden meaning and it worked. And the guy found the money there. Another story. Chad Barnash, another son of man, also legabi de Rabbi Yossi ban Chalafta. He obviously was known to be a paiser chaloimis. Amalei, and he told him, Chames bechelmi, I saw in my dream. This is so good. That here it's a visual dream. Lavush chat kilil desires. I was adorned with a crown of olive branches. Why are you laughing? Because Yoshka has that? Lahavdil? I don't know what he has. I don't care. I'm sorry if you're even saying that. Take him out of the Gemara. Okay. He dreamt about himself. He was wearing a crown of olive branches.
The Caesars of Rome.
The Caesars of Rome. Very good. So Amalei, so Rabbi Yossi told him, I'll tell you what the meaning of the dream is. Da'at misroimima. You are going to be elevated. Because crown, it doesn't have to mean the Caesar. Crown means you're being elevated to being a leader. Okay, so and don't forget, what do you think the guy kept it a secret? He told the whole world. I know someone over here that he walked by the Rebbe. He used to tell the Rebbe every time, Rebbe, give me a bracha to become wealthy. The Rebbe didn't respond consistent. To him, the Rebbe told him, I gave you a bracha to be wealthy. What do you think happened? He told the whole world that the Rebbe told him he'll become wealthy. So some wealthy guy in Australia told him, so then let's become partners. And just like that, he became wealthy. So this guy was walking around everywhere, and he was telling everyone, I had a dream, and Rabbi Yossi told me the crown of olives is, I'm becoming a leader. Okay, what happened? Labasa Yoiman, a couple of days go by, Asachat Chayran, another guy came, and he had the same dream. Be'emes. Another guy had the same dream, Aviv. Another guy dreamt that he was wearing a crown of olive branches. Amalei, he tells him, Chames bechalmi, I saw in my dream, Levush kalila desires. I was adorned with a crown of olive branches. What was he expecting to hear? The same interpretation, right? Amalei, Rabbi Yossi tells him, da'at milka, you're going to get malchus. You're going to be beaten up. So he wasn't happy. So Amalei, so the second guy tells Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, I don't understand. We had the same exact dream. Lahu Gavra, to the other one, Amart, you tell him, what's the meaning of the dream? The At Misraimima. And Veli, and to me, Amart, you're telling me the At Milky, I'm going to get my, how great is that? So Amalei, so Rabbi Yossi responds, listen to this, that the dream, when you interpret a dream, before I said means you're going to be elevated. But Va'at, you came with the same dream. But during what season in the year? Becheftaya. You came during the time of the year that the olive trees are beaten. When are they beaten? We know about this. When you harvested olive trees, when the olives are ready, today with machinery, it's a whole different world. But I'm saying the way it used to be until, for thousands of years, until, I don't know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they would beat the tree. And then the olives would fall down. So you dreamt it during a time that what happens to an olive tree? The olive tree is chapping malchus. So therefore, I interpreted that the same dream means you're going to be beaten. So this is beautiful. So we have two big things that we learn from him. Number one is that a dream doesn't only have to be symbolic. It could be like this, can be like that. It can be more literal, it can be that you have to know. Number two is that the same dream can have complete opposite meanings because you have to know when it was dreamt. Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a whole other layer, which is the Abaye Virava situation.
Yes.
Where they had the same dream at the same time and
So
different
he's speaking about in
interpretations.
Gemara that the dream interpreter, when the Gemara in Bavli says that the dream follows the one who gives its interpretation, which somehow appears to mean that the one who is giving its interpretation has the power of directing that energy through the way that he's interpreting it. And the whole tragic story there is that whoever paid the dream interpreter got a better interpretation.
Abaye.
Danny, I didn't get ahead. But Hedya, what was his name of the dream interpreter?
No, I said Abaye got the good response and Rava got the negative.
What was the name of the dream interpreter?
Ooh, I forget.
Maybe Bar Hedya, but where's Yakir? Anyway, Brachas Daf Nun Vav, Daf over there, Daf Nun Zayin. I know where to. Okay. Anyways, or you can Google it. By the way, just to make that AI doesn't at all have the right pagination. It's chaval. If you're looking for something and you put it into AI and you ask them, where can I find this and that and the other? The chutzpah that they have is that they throw out a masech and a daf and it's completely off. At least say, I don't know. What are you putting a thumbs up? It was Bar Hedya, Bar Hadya, Bar...
Okay. I'm saying they don't have the pagination, Rabbi. You're right.
Okay, 100%. Let's go back. It's getting late and it's fascinating.
Guys, yeah, it says Bar Hedya.
Bar Hedya?
Yeah.
Thank you. Chad Barnash. I thank you, God, that even in my dementia epis, some little remnants. Chad Barnash also ligabe Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yossi. And now, either he was a dream interpreter, like look at these stories, or it could be other people say that no, he wasn't a dream interpreter. But if you are living in an area where this was a livelihood people made. Until today, someone was giving the wrong dream interpretation, so he felt responsible to correct it, whichever one it was. So dream number one, Amalei, he told Rabbi Yossi ben Rabbi Shmuel, Chametz bechelmi, I saw in my dream, Mashke zeisa meshach. I was irrigating an olive tree with oil. How ironic. Where does oil come from? Aviv. Right, it's in the opposite direction. He saw himself irrigating the olive tree with oil. So Amalei Rabbi Shmuel tells him, Tipach rucha deu gavra. May this man's spirit suffer agony. The dreamer, that's horrible. Because li'imehu chacham, this dream indicates that this man had relations with his mother. Yeah, because like the olive is the mother, the oil is the child, so to say. The oil comes out of the olive, and he was going in the opposite direction. Another case like that. And Amalei, he tells the Rabbi Shmuel, I saw in my dream, I saw in my eyes that one eye was kissing the other. Amalei, again, you're misbehaving horribly. You right away, he told him, may your spirit suffer. Why? Because that is an indication that he was having relations with his sister. Third case, Amalei, I want to say one thing. If you misbehave, don't go to him. Or let me say better, if you are misbehaving, go to him. Because deep down, we want to get exposed. to end the craziness. Amalei chames bechelmi. I saw in my dream isli tolosa einain. I had 3 eyes. Lahavdil, go over there, go to India. They'll give you a whole Torah. Ooh, you will have your 3rd eye opened. And that's not what he told him. Very down to earth. So Amalei tells him, Tanudin at of it. Ooh, is that eye? Now there's different. There's a marafulda pnei Moshe. He told him that this was a like a 60th of a prophecy. This is an indication that you will have the profession of manufacturing ovens. Just to understand that ovens in the days of old, very unlike your oven in the kitchen, the oven was a clay cheres that had in the top a little round eye opening. They needed some place from where for the smoke to go out. A tanur, very good. And what does it mean? Tartoch einon. Don't. In other words, he took him down the Grace ivory tower. You're not getting no 3rd eye. You're going to have your 2 eyes. And what will you be focusing on? Ve'eno de tanura. And you're going to be focusing on the eye of the oven, which means that you will become an oven manufacturer. By the way, this is a great dream. But I get the disappointment. And I think in every case, there's a disappointment over here. Chadba, next, 4th case. How were we up to Chevra? We have to get moving over here. That then he tells him, I saw in my dream, Isli Arba Udnin, I had 4 ears. Aviv, don't look inside. What does that mean? How do you get to that? What does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Like, I don't know where you go from there. How do these people do this? So what is it? What is was meant us? 4 ears. If you have a dream tonight, you have 4 ears. It means nothing. It means you learned the Gemara today. Armalei, Rabbi Shmuel told him that maloyat is araya, the same thing. The way we're learning, the way the Marafulda learns. You were dreaming about how will you start making a living, that you will become a barrel filler. You're going to be, your parnasa will be by filling barrels, because barrels then had 2 ears, 2 handles. Parte utnach, you're going to keep your 2 ears. Vetarte utne de garba. Okay, 5th case. I saw in my dream, I saw that people are running away from me. What does that mean? People are running away from me. Amalei, so Rabbi Shmuel tells him, Da'at maitai izaya v'chol amoch orkin min kadamach. It means, again, your livelihood will be by you carrying, in Yiddish it was called a schlepper, a porter, a truck manager, and you're going to be delivering bundles of thorns. And therefore, in other words, this was a positive dream. Not that people are running away from you. They're not running away from you. When you're transporting your bushels, which have thorns, people are running away from your luggage, but not from you. It doesn't mean that they're running away from you. 6th case. In all of these cases, Amaleni tells him, I saw in my dream, I was wearing a notebook that had that had 12 wooden plates. That, every store, that's the way they made notes. So they had these plates, and every plate that was wax, and they would engrave whatever they needed to remember. So Amaleni tells them, is bar trei aser markon. Not that you'll actually, not literally, not that you're going to be actually working with a notebook. No, it means that the saddle of your donkey will be one that has 12 patches. This is so beyond me that I don't know what I don't know. One thing we clearly see.
How did he get there?
Not only how did he get there, dafka, not literally. Don't become a literalist. Don't concretize everything, especially in a dream. And let's go to the 7th case, and I know it's getting late, and we'll have to stop. And Amaleni told him, I saw in my dream, that I swallowed a star. Oh, Amalei, now we're having the same Lashonis we had before by Rabbi Yossi Bar Chalafta. Made this man's spirit suffer agony because you killed a Jew. Yehudoi Chatal. Why is a Jew a star? As it says in Balak, Dorach Koichav Miyakov. Actually, that's the whole story. The reason why Shimon ben Koziva was called by Rabbi Akiva with Bar Kochba. Bar Kochba was not his name. Bar Kochba was the name that Rabbi Akiva gave him, was because of Dorach Koichav Miyakov. That one of the symbols of a Jew is a star. I heard a good word. Why is a star a yid? Because a star, if you are distant from the star appears to be a nothing, a little bit of light, a speck of light. But the emes is stars are humongous and they have tremendous amount of light. Why do they look little? Because you are distant from it. And that's the attitude we have to have with the other. If they look little, they're little because you're far away. Get closer and you'll see how great the other is. Guys, we're up to the 8th case. We'll stop over here. A lot more to be continued.
Go ahead.
Enjoy that.